Good evening, everyone. I'm Anthony.
And I'm Matt.
And today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. We're going to be debating on what was better. Specifically, video games. And those video games happen to be in the same series. We're going to be debating which was the better video game. Metal Gear Solid.
And Metal Gear Solid 3. Snake Eater.
Snake Eater. Alright, so I guess I'll go first, since this came out first. When you look at Metal Gear Solid, you're looking at pretty much one of the greatest video games of all time. The thing that basically took the stealth genre to a new level, brought it to the three-dimensional medium, showed what it could do, what it could be, and basically has been what everyone who has tried to do a stealth game has tried to imitate in some way ever since. And the game told a great story, had great gameplay elements. Sure, was a bit, it was a little bit primitive, and at times maybe you could say unrealistic, but it just felt more like a game in a sense, a good mixture of realism and a game. And it had a great story, great boss fights.
It was just a great game overall, right?
Yeah. I guess there's my starting arguments. You?
Oh, well, I like Metal Gear Solid... Sorry, I'm on a sugar high. I like Metal Gear Solid 3 the most because it just felt like it added so much more to the Metal Gear Solid franchise. I mean, honestly, for me, Metal Gear Solid 2... was a good game. I loved it, but I like this one a whole lot more. Because sometimes I felt like Metal Gear Solid 2 was sort of kind of rehashing on Metal Gear Solid 1, but they actually, I don't want to spoil anything, but they actually justify that with a legitimate reason in the story of Metal Gear Solid 2. But anyway, this one I felt brought in so much more to the franchise. I love the camouflage system. I love the weapons. I love the weakening suppressors, which makes sense because this game takes place in the 60s. And I love the Cold War tensions and everything. And another thing that I really love about this game is the story. And I don't want to spoil as much, but what I want to say is that Snake is not the true hero of the story in this game.
It's been out for a few years. Go ahead, spoil a few things.
Okay, fine. The main villain of the game, well, one of the main villains, really, the boss, is actually the true hero because she ends up giving her life for her country, and you're the one who killed her. So, therefore, you're not the real hero, the boss is. It's a long story, trust me. Very difficult to explain, but anyway. So, that's why I love Metal Gear Solid 3 the most.
Yeah, but I felt Metal Gear Solid 3 had a lot of good ideas, but the gameplay just... you didn't need to do all that stuff. You just could do the bare minimum of things to get by. I could have just easily shot someone or tranked someone or avoided them and walked away. I didn't need to go up to them and CQC them and pull them down. And it didn't give this one felt like you had to use pretty much everything at your disposal. Metal Gear Solid 3 seemed like it just had a bit more extras, and honestly, for all the survival aspects that this game puts in, and say you get hit or shot, you're weakened, to an extent, this game feels a lot more realistic in the sense of when in this game, if you get shot, if you get shot too much, you really are kind of screwed. You really gotta bump up your stealth skills. This one, I played and I could take a pretty good amount of hits.
Well, this game, actually, I felt a lot of the stuff, like, I know you sucked with the CQC. I found the CQC just fine. I mean, and it actually did help, because,
I suck with I suck with the CQC, but the one thing is I didn't find a lot of reasons to actually use it. So
I did. I actually did. I found it, like, when I wore out my suppressors or something, I would often use the CQC to kill guards quietly, and I would also use them to, like, hold them up, like, if I was caught or something, and I would use them as, like, human shields and shoot back at the guards approaching.
I guess my stealth skills are a little better in that game because I didn't need to get so close. I knew how to get around everyone.
Yeah, well, that's because of the introduction of the camo system. That's another thing that I really liked, and I liked the change of the setting. It's not like in some dull gray like a Shadow Moses, or it's not like Big Shell or a cruise ship. It's out in the jungle where you actually have to work on your camouflage. I love balancing that in. It's another one of the reasons I like Dragon Ball Z Budokai. I love when you have to like calculate something in your head, like the key elements. You have to keep that up while keeping your opponent's key lower than your own.
I don't know. I just felt this one had a better mix of game being knowing that it was a game, but also being properly realistic and integrated that story into it just well. And I felt this one did more for more for the series and more for gaming in general.
Well, this one I prefer because it introduces a lot more into the series, and I love the story, I love the characters, I love the gameplay, I love the camouflage system, and overall I just love everything about this game.
That's another thing. I prefer the characters here more. I love, I love Snake, but I love Liquid. I love Ocelot. I absolutely love Gray Fox, and Psycho Mantis is a very interesting and well written character.
I will admit that a lot of the characters in Metal Gear Solid are a bit more interesting, but I love the characters here too. I love the Fury, who's one of the few men who went up into space. I love
the Fury was the best.
Yeah, and I love the Ends boss battle because it just felt like a real sniper fight instead of like Sniper Wolf's fight where I really didn't understand how she was this legendary sniper because she just kept moving from tree to tree and I was just shooting her and picking off at her health. And I loved the Ends boss battle because it felt like a legitimate sniper fight. Like there were two guys sitting around in camo waiting for one to spot the other or one other guy to make the wrong move, and that's how a sniper battle should go.
That did have one problem, though. I didn't always have to use a sniper, to be honest.
Yeah, well, neither did I, but still, it felt like a legitimate sniper battle. Like, that's how sniper fights go. In real life, they don't just run around trying to find a better shooting spot, or, like, because some AI gets impatient or something. And besides, if you suck at that element, you can actually turn your system off for a week, come back, and the End will have died of old age. I love that kind of interactivity, and I love how you can kill the End off earlier on in the game and not have to worry about him.
We'll talk about interactivity. The Psycho Mantis fight had two ways you could actually beat him. Plug in the controller port, or for some reason you couldn't do that, doing the whole retarded take the masks off the statues. I mean, who was the one who basically introduced the innovation?
Well, that's very true. But I just prefer, like, the more alternate endings to this game. I prefer the interesting characters. I prefer the cool boss fights. I prefer the story and everything about this game. I just love.
I got nothing else to say. You?
No, I am out.
Well, tell us below what you think.
If you even watch this video, please. We need to know that someone's watching this. Otherwise, we're going to shoot ourselves. So
tell us below what you think. I'm sticking with this.
And I'm sticking with this.
So that's all we got to say. See you later.
See ya.
Great. Now give me back my copy.
Give me back my copy.
I'm so alone. Oh.